With all our travels, we would meet baristas, talk to them, and ask them. And then we'd say, we are from India and we grow coffee. And India grows coffee. I know pepper, I know tea, but coffee. So nobody really knew India grew coffee. So I think a lot of the brands today are working on this, and we've come a long way. And people across the world are slowly recognizing India as a quality coffee brewer. So that's where we are today.
Yeah. Hi Ashish, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. It's been, I think it's a very busy morning for you, being a Sunday today.
A little bit.
It's very nice. I think it's something for your hard, sure for your hard work that you've been working so hard, getting things going all the way from your journey before. Actually, we should start with that.
Right.
Tell me a little bit about your journey. How did you get to the coffee business, and how did you find your path ahead?
So I think it was about 2012 when I started my coffee journey. I was in advertising before, and I have a very close friend Paige who we studied together in Bangalore, etc. And then most of the coffee that came to my house was from his farm. And my constant thing with him was that unless I get it from your farm, there's really no other place to get it in Bangalore, or whether you pick something off the shelf. It tastes okay, but it's obviously roasted really a long time ago. So that's when we decided to, why don't we start something small, something together where the coffee comes from your farm and we roast it. On that time we couldn't afford a daily basis, so say about 3 or 4 times a week. And then we'll do this mail order system of supplying coffee to friends, family, and see where it goes. And obviously it picked up pretty soon, and that was the brand called Flying Spirit in 2012. Very soon we were able to afford our own roaster, and that's when we opened our first little cafe, which had a roastery as well as we were serving coffees, etc. So it was literally farm to cup. Probably one of the first brands that actually did that in India. And in 2018 we exited Flying Squirrel, and we decided that we want to do something a little more crazy and experimental, and something that showcase Indian coffee in a way that's probably never been seen before, especially to the rest of the world. I mean, to India of course, and then to the rest of the world also, because with all our travels, we would meet baristas, talk to them, and ask them. And then we'd say, we are from India and we grow coffee. And India grows coffee. I know pepper, I know tea, but coffee. So nobody really knew India grew coffee. So I think a lot of the brands today are working on this, and we've come a long way. And people across the world are slowly recognizing India as a quality coffee brewer. So that's where we are today.
Yeah, and I've just been on this journey from 2020, I think, and learning and growing side by side. I'm actually thankful that Niren actually introduced us, and I was able to get so many insights from you, even as a fresher at the time when I came and saw you, and you were able to guide me what is the right way, what is the what could be better, and I think we've grown from there, and I think we are at a better place now with regards to talking about coffee and bringing it to Indore, our region. It's still new. It's very new actually. We have a bunch of specialty coffee shops. We are slowly seeing slow bars come in as well. We're looking at people to experiment and try. We are doing some workshops where we get people to come in and brew with us, things like that. And it's stage zero. It's like first is the education, and then is maybe the experimentation, and then you get those flavor profiles and things going more niche into it. So what would you like to say to a region like this? What is it that we should do more? I think activations, pop-ups, workshops, what is it that we should move forward for?
Well, I think a lot more of knowledge dispensation, because I think that's key, because when people don't have the right knowledge and they're just like doing what I call the cultural appropriation from the West, where you're just sort of blindly following standards and SOPs, and then I think you lose the essence of you really lose the essence of coffee. And that's what I see with a lot of today's brewers and stuff like that. It's like everything is, oh no, this is the way it has to be done, this is how it has to drop, but actually the essence of coffee is a lot more deeper, and it begins so much with the palette. And I think that knowledge, so when they really get to understand and learn from someone who's really knowledgeable, I think that's important. And obviously you're down that you're going down that path.
We're going down that path.
Yeah, and so therefore for you it's your responsibility therefore to then give the right kind of knowledge.
So I usually do this. I think in any business that I've been, I try and first figure what is the world way of doing it. But then I also want to use my rationale and see that okay, this step or this point or this process does not make sense to me. It's not absolute.
Exactly.
It is subjective. And if it is subjective, why put it down in numbers?
Right.
That's what I come from.
Yeah.
So when I'm doing my workshop, I'll talk about them. Like, I'll say, okay, I brewed this for 2.5 minutes. I did this. I put them through. But towards the end of the workshop, I'm always like, these are ballpark numbers.
Exactly.
You may or may not like my cup. I like my cup. You want to make your own. You want to see if it's 2 minutes 20, 2 minutes 90, whatever you need to do. So that is just with regards to tasting.
Right.
But I think this applies to the entire supply chain.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And because your partner is also a farmer, is also basically has a plantation. Can you tell me what they are doing differently? Because there's a lot of experimentation going on there as well.
So, I mean, that's probably the biggest part of our business. The creative side of it is what happens on the farm. Most of it, obviously, the way we create drinks here and design. But again, that's a different stream altogether. But I think the most creative part of our business is what happens on the farm. It takes about 8 months of just brainstorming, thinking up ideas, and really having nowhere to go with it until harvest happens, and then that's when all the action also happens. And so I think in 2018 we started experimenting with fermentation, something that has been like completely looked over by most growers. I mean, probably all growers in India and some growers abroad were trying something, but fermentation is something that's really excited us, because something that was taken for granted. You have to ferment coffee cherry to actually get to the bean in some way or the other, but it was just left to chance, right? Whatever happened. At the end of the day, if the mucilage comes off and I can get to the green bean, then that's all that really matters to me. So we sort of tried. The first year it was a lot of just guesswork, because we still don't know what was the output we're going to get. But we try to actually work with those fermentation in terms of time, in terms of pressure, temperature, in terms of what kind of yeasts that are obviously the wild yeast that's present on the cherry, but what other yeasts could also do when it comes in contact with the fruitiness of the coffee, and what kind of notes and flavors and acids that could be generated there, which could change the property of the coffee, right? So it's still Indian coffee. We're not adding anything special, or we're not adding anything artificial to it, but that's where all of that. So we experimented that for a good 2 years, and then now
I think the experimentation part, it's as you mentioned, you need to have a plan.
Yeah.
So it may not go as per your plan. The nature is not as per you. The rain might come early, might come late. So you kind of compensate for those things. There's so much that's going on, and I think it's very exciting. I also think that along the journey you have these lots that you try 1 year, try the next year, try and make it consistent. Try and make sure that now when we set this up as a label, we are able to consistently give it for the longest period possible. So that's I think phenomenal there. Even with regards to cafe, because now you have one here where we are sitting in. There is a lot of experimentation with drinks. I specifically love your clarified cappuccino. The milky notes, the caffeine. Of course, you can taste the caffeine. Not at all bitter as far as I can see or taste, and the essence of the rosemary and the citrusiness. I think it just made my day. It was really beautiful.
Thank you.
I hope more and more people can come down and experiment, and maybe even teach us something so that we can take it back to Indore. If I was to pick one coffee, you have to understand that it's the North Indian palate. It's more mellow. It's not it does not require very bitter. Which one of the Maverick and Farmer one would you say is a must-have to start off with?
Actually, very strangely, so we do a lot of B2B business, and the one that has worked the most in the north, not in the south. In the south, it's more of a variant called Parama, which is actually a blend. It's about 92%, 93% Arabica, and a little bit of Robusta for the crema. We use pea berry of both Arabica and Robusta. So that really works here in the south. It's a medium darkish roast, very well balanced coffee. But in the north, the bigger demand is for something called Tall Dark Handsome, which is a single estate Arabica, but it's a French roast. So it's almost like an oily roast. It's very dark. I think in the north so far, our experiences, and that's probably changing, is that people drink it with milk invariably. So they love that little triangle of bitter, sweet, and that coffee flavor, right? So I think that's what's working more for us. It's not only because it's a bitter coffee, but it really shines through with milk. So Tall Dark Handsome is something. Of late, we are also getting a lot of like some of our more experimental coffees, like We did cold smoke coffee, and probably the world's first, not probably, we are the world's first to actually smoke cold smoke.
Yes, I just saw that. Yes,
so that's
yes,
something
yes.
that's really lovely. It gets sold out. A lot of cafes up now just pick up huge lots right at the beginning, and
Done.
it's almost done. Then we did something called what ale, which is not, our idea was not to get the taste of beer in coffee, but see what we could do when the yeasts of ale actually come in contact with the wax during the fermentation process, and that was something very interesting. Again, a lot of cafes in Gujarat, just like picked up huge batches of it, and it was sold out pretty soon. So we don't even have stuff in our cafe today,
Right.
but we're waiting for the next harvest, which is not too long from now. So I think these, the experimental ones, yes, but from a larger perspective, like offices, hotels, etc., mostly the tall dark Handsome
is the one that's going. Well, that's great for us. It's good insights. We will try and obviously bring your coffee to the region as well, and try and support cafes and hotels to kind of stock up on our coffee, on your coffee. It's just a journey, I believe, and I think we've connected in some manner through some people, good people who meant well for both of us. So I think moving forward from here is the only way to go.
Absolutely.
It's been an absolute pleasure seeing you today.
Likewise.
One last thing that I want to touch upon is with regards to the industry
Right.
and the championships,
Right.
and how it kind of correlates in terms of learnings, in terms of maybe calibrating the taste profiles with each other, and moving forward, and in terms of the career with our workforce, our baristas, our brewmasters.
Right.
Anything that you'd like to add there?
Yeah, I think the championships are doing a great job for our baristas, because there's a lot more to aspire to today, and unfortunately, like for example, when we started in 2012, a barista was someone who worked in the restaurant or F&B business, and you somehow trained him and made him like do some foaming of milk and somehow get a heart and some other. So, but from then on till today people are actually wanting to, like, even I have other staff who come in and say, can you teach me how to become a barista? And so it's something that people really, because there is this flamboyance to it, there is this visibility to it, there is this thing of connecting with customers all the time. Customers remember baristas and say, last time you made me this drink, I want the same drink, etc. So today it's becoming a lot more aspirational. Because of the championships, now the sensory aspect of it is also getting a lot more attention. It's not just the not just the art. It's not just the art. So also, how do you work towards consistency and creating and tasting espressos and making sure that so I think that's it really works.
I do see this across a lot of cafes here. I see people standing out. I see them going that extra mile to connect with the customer, to remember what they like, and also with regards to aspirations, they want to win something and bring that gold or silver back to the cafe to increase their reputation as well. So it's fantastic as the ecosphere goes. Well, that's it from us then today. We hope to see you soon in Indore if you are able to visit. I'm sure that we'll be able to add a lot of value to the existing ecosphere and meet a lot of cafe owners there as well.
Perfect.
Thank you, man. It's been a pleasure.
See you.
See you in the next video.
Bye.